you think this baby's in danger, it's nothing compared to what can happen as early as the 3rd week of pregnancy, when birth defects of the brain and spinal cord can occur. If you're a woman of childbearing age, take a multivitamin with folic acid every day, pregnant or not, and help save a baby. March of Dimes, saving babies together.
Ready?
Not.
Ready?
Not.
Your body's been ready for quite some time,
Not.
Ready?
but not your mind.
Ready?
Not.
Ready?
No way.
You have lots to do before you have a baby. But don't forget to take folic acid today and every day to prevent birth defects one special day. So when all of you is ready, that baby of yours will be ready to take on the world.
Ready?
Not.
Ready.
With us today is Betsy Trent, Assistant Director of the local March of Dimes, here to discuss the 3-year campaign the March of Dimes has been working on to encourage use of folic acid to prevent neural tube defects. The campaign that you've been working on and that you've brought some materials for us to take a look at includes an extensive media awareness campaign. 2 of the PSAs that were developed, the Traffic Baby and the Ready or Not PSA, which the students are going to be looking at as part of this video, seem to have very different messages and very different strategies. I wonder if you could talk about the evolution of the campaign and talk about the different approaches of those 2 media elements.
Sure. We had actually started the folic acid campaign even as long as 7 or 8 years ago with some very soft messages that were getting the message across about folic acid and about the March of Dimes, but it wasn't doing very much as to actually creating memory or certainly changing behavior. And so when the March of Dimes became very, very serious about a multi-million-dollar campaign, one of the first things they tried to do with the Traffic Baby was to launch something that was very attention-getting, actually disturbing, even uncomfortable to some viewers as they watched that baby going across the road, because the message was, you are putting your baby in as much danger by not adding folic acid to your diet prior to pregnancy and planning for a healthy baby, as if you put the child in the middle of the street trying to cross the road. You certainly wouldn't do that, and so it's important for you to know more about folic acid and to get the facts before you become pregnant.
And that's interesting because the fear pill aspect of it, you're setting up a negative impression, but that negative impression you're hoping to be able to use as an attention-getting device.
Exactly. Then we expanded the PSAs or changed to other messages that really were addressing the contemplators, those that were planning a pregnancy, or even the non-contemplators, or briefly brushing into to those audiences with the Before You Know It campaign. That was a softer PSA that just gave the message that even before you're pregnant, before you know that you're pregnant, your baby's spinal columns, those nerves are being formed, and so you need to be taking folic acid at least 3 months prior to pregnancy to ensure that you're reducing the risk of a baby being born with a neural tube defect. Then we launched a PSA campaign that was called Ready Not. The Ready Not really specifically addressed more of the youth audience, the non-contemplators who, for no reason, were they planning to have a baby. That was far off in their future. They were ready, they were capable of becoming pregnant, but they certainly were not planning it. And so that was, even though you're not ready to have a baby right now, folic acid needs to be in your diet today.
Now that seems, when the language non-contemplators and contemplators, you're segmenting your audience a little bit demographically that way. The non-contemplators are probably maybe younger, and you can
Right.
tell that a little bit in the PSA.
Right.
But was your objective to actually change behavior? Is that how you viewed the use of the PSAs in themselves, or were there other elements that you added to the campaign?
We added a great deal of educational pieces with posters and pins and buttons and materials to train a variety of people, because the media campaign helped to raise awareness. It helped to have people more aware of folic acid, but there was still a great deal of misunderstanding as to what folic acid was, that it really reduced the chances of a birth defect, and certainly when they should take it. So we had to develop materials that were able to go out into our various publics, our fundraising publics, our healthcare professionals, our youth audiences in the schools, to actually go in more depth of educating these audiences about what folic acid is, that it prevents a birth defect, and when it's important to take it.
Let's talk a little bit about the repetition factor. How does that work in a media awareness campaign like this one?
You say it, and you say it again. So the more you can incorporate your folic acid message in the various things that you do, and have the same message in different media outlets, not only radio, television, and print, but also in local types of community-based media as well, so that they're seeing the same messages, they're able to remember it better, raise awareness, and hopefully when they have the opportunities to receive more information with their education campaigns, they'll listen to it more and say, oh yeah, well, tell me more about this.